What's happening, everyone? It's Sam here, and I'm here to talk to you today about a comment that the MP Andrea Jenkyns posted on Twitter. First of all, apologies for the background. I know a lot of YouTubers put blue screen or green screen on and make themselves look like they're in a castle or in some kind of studio, but I just thought this is kind of fitting for the state of British politics at the moment. Just an absolute building site with just shit everywhere. So let's just put this comment into context. This was written just after the House of Commons voted on the ruling of the Privilege Committee to ban Boris Johnson from the House of Parliament for, I think it's 90 days. So let's start at the beginning. She starts off with a sham and spiteful show trial, which, right, let's just stop there because that's unbelievable. So all the Tories consistently, for what felt like months, nay, years, whenever they were asked about COVID, all they'd say was, well, we've got to wait for the inquiry. We've got to wait for the Privilege Committee to make their ruling. We've got to wait for this inquiry. We've got to wait for that inquiry, which I understand that as a dodging tactic, as a politician. But what you can't do is say, we've got to wait for this, we've got to wait for this, we've got to wait for this. And then when it comes, just say, that's a load of bollocks, mate. You know, what are you doing at the bus stop? I'm waiting for the bus, and the bus comes and you're like, well, that bus is shite. Get on the bus and shut up. I'm not sure that's the best analogy I've ever made, but you know the point I'm trying to make. It's ridiculous. So it wasn't a show trial before it happened. It wasn't a show trial while it was going on. It's only a show trial when they don't get the result they want. Let's carry on. Events over the last few months have been a sham. Right, let's just stop there again. The last few months have been a sham. Andrea, events over the last, 12 years? 13 years since the Tories got in have been a sham. But it's interesting actually, because if you look at Cameron and then Theresa May, I mean, Boris Johnson has lowered the bar so dramatically. I look at Theresa May now and I go, she was great. I did not think that at the time, but at least she had, I can't believe I'm saying these phrases, at least she had, do you know what, I'm sure I said this about Thatcher at least once during COVID. I said, at least Thatcher, and then I'm like, what am I doing? But at least Theresa May, I didn't agree with it on any of her politics, but at least she had some kind of, there was a sense of, what's the word, honour, maybe that's not the wrong word, but there was a sense of duty that felt genuine. I disagreed with that, but we disagree with people. It's been a sham since Johnson got in, and it's been a sham since he's left, perhaps even more so. So anyway, let's carry on. A democratically elected Prime Minister has been ousted. Well, he has been ousted, but if he was democratically elected, which he was also democratically ousted. So I don't know what the problem is. You're moaning because you lost. That's it. I'm an Everton fan. Do I go, well, it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair the way that the other team scored more goals than us. Well, that's just what happened, isn't it? This bit got me. The left, including the left-wing media, haven't stopped until they got their prey. This perception or this suggestion that the left or that the media are left-wing is preposterous, isn't it? It's such a right-wing country we live in. The press is right-wing, the government's right-wing. The left-wing press, what did that used to be? It was The Guardian and The Mirror, maybe. What is it now? Because I would not, they're left-leaning, maybe, or are they centrist? I don't know. They're certainly not left-wing. And that's two small parts. If you look at the circulation figures for The Guardian and The Mirror, they are way down on what, if you add all the Tory rags together, like the Telegraph and the Mail and all of that shite. You've got, what the left-wing press, what is that? The Morning Star, which is read by about 15 people. You know, it's just unbelievable when you start saying stuff like that. Carries on. And the suspension of a former PM from Parliament is, in my view, spiteful. Well, your view is very skewed by the fact that this Prime Minister in question gave you a damehood. Is that the right word? Made you a dame. And you thoroughly don't deserve it. Yeah, it's a joke. You're the same person who stuck a middle finger up at the press when you left Downing Street, when you were Education Secretary. You're a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace. You should not be in that place. You should not be in charge of anything to do with shaping the future of the nation, shaping the future of our children's education. It's an absolute embarrassment. You are an embarrassment. In your view, it's spiteful. Well, in my view, your view is bollocks. We didn't stand the chance of defeating this vote this evening. Mathematically impossible, seeing as a lot of my own party MPs who incidentally would not have been elected without Boris chose to vote with the opposition this evening. Well, that's kind of democracy, isn't it? You choose to vote the way you feel you should. And that's the way the system works. That's the system that, quite frankly, Andrea, you have benefited from enormously. Some would suggest more than you should have done. So pipe down, shut up, stick your finger up at someone else, and stop talking shite. Carries on. It was decided today collectively that those MPs who truly felt this whole episode has been unjust to together boycott this and not legitimise this report. I just think when MPs boycott votes, abstain, whatever you want to call it, I just think it shows an incredible amount of cowardice. And I know there's politics behind the scenes. I'm not an idiot. I'm not naive. I know that there's reasons why people might not want to vote against someone because that person may have their future in the balance, or they may have their balls in their hand, if you want to use a slightly more coarse description. But you are elected to make decisions on our behalf. And if you can't do that, then we should find someone who can. Does that sound good? Yeah, cool. We couldn't win this in the Commons, but as they say, this is just one battle. Who says that? Who's ever said this is just one battle? Captain Kirk? I've never heard that before. I've never heard that phrase. I don't think that's a phrase. There isn't a phrase, we've won the battle, but we may not win the war, or something along those lines. But this is just one battle, as they say. I will certainly not give up. Let's keep standing up for democracy and fairness. Well, what's the problem? This is democracy. It was a vote, and the vote went against what you wanted to happen. Now, I understand if you're upset. We all get upset when we lose, but that's democracy. Jesus Christ. You can't call it democracy when you win, but undemocratic when you lose. It's the same thing. Fairness, give me a break. Fairness, you're a Tory. You don't know fucking anything about fairness. I will always hashtag back Boris, our democratically elected PM. Now, that's probably the only bit that I do agree with her on, because at least Boris, and again, in this video I've already said at least Thatcher, and now I'm saying at least Boris, but bear with me, at least Boris was elected to be Prime Minister. The last two Prime Ministers haven't been elected. Liz Truss wasn't elected. Rishi Sunak wasn't elected. Rishi Sunak has got to carry the weight around his shoulders that he lost to Liz Truss. He lost to Liz Truss. Jesus Christ, that's getting that's like getting knocked out of the FA Cup by Gillingham. 4-0. It's embarrassing, mate. So that's my thoughts on the comments. And maybe she didn't write it. Maybe she got ChatGPT to write it. In which case, AI, if you're watching, I know you are, you watch everything, don't you? You've probably got cameras in my bathroom, you dirty perv. But sort your algorithm out, because that is a shocking comment. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like or a comment and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more videos, join me on Patreon. I've got a place called The House of Avery, and for as little as £3 a month, you get loads of bonus videos. I'll even send you the tea towel with me face on, if that's what you're into. A lot of people aren't, and I don't blame you, but it is good. So come in and see all the extra content. But mainly, thanks for watching, and have a great day.